Yeah. The electrical and spiritual current that connects the House of Andrews to the very pulse of the immovable earth. This nervous system is the network of ley lines and telluric currents that carry the HaWah frequency. And when I look at these currents coming out the north, will this be also connected with the telluric currents and the Appalachian and San Andreas, Strait of Anion and all this stuff, right? Knowing that you go right through Anion, electric water, right? Electric charge. Anion Regna. Anion. Right, to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop, man. Where X marks the spot. And ley lines, right, just like we said. So these are dragon lines that carry the HaWah frequency along the spine, the Appalachian Caledonian chain. It is the conduit, through which the eternal breath of security reaches the inner chamber of the king. So the tides, I think it's going to mention here, the tides are all connected to this water, man. This is where, right, the Aurora Borealis and the magnetic mountain, these tides, you see all this water? This is what causes the tides, man. Not some moon this and moon that. It's the breath. It's the breath of Mama in the very center, man. This is the breath, man. This is the center of the breath, man. Okay. Eternal breath of security. The HaWah, the breath is security. To get your Zion, you need breath and security. To get your Zion. And what's at the center, right? No ice. I know that much. No ice in, no ice out. In 1587, and before you say, oh, this is fanciful, this says right here, this work is a remarkable map titled Tavola 1 through 60 by Urbano Monte, created in 1587. It features the comprehensive depiction of the world using a north polar projection forming part of a larger manuscript atlas. It doesn't say imaginary map. It says remarkable map. Comprehensive depiction. So stop the play when we talk no cap on the Arctic chessbone. No ice. So we gotta look into the Little Ice Age for some recent freeze in the last couple hundred years, man. And, you know, did HaWah do that to preserve the garden, right? Atlantis, the garden, Mu, like all these pristine sacred places. But let's talk the Highlands, the cervical plexus. The Highlands, the head of the nervous system is anchored in the Scottish Highlands. That's the head. The head is the resh. The resh is the roost. Whoa. I said the head, my naga, is the resh. Where they get ra from in Hebrew just means the head, right? The first, the top. They have all these generalities when they call on their gods. Ra just means the first, top, beginning. So they said, our God is Ra. Our God is the first. Our God is the top. They say Allah, which just means above, but it's general. Above, how far above you gonna get? Are you talking most high, over everything, or just anything above in the celestial? The resh is the rus. R-E-S is R-U-S is R-E-W-S. Is the resh, is the rus, is the first. Where wisdom is the conqueror of fortune. We're talking Israel. Saracen, right? Okay. Let's get it for the dismount. Best dismount of all time. Let's go.
There is no place in the world like our Hawaii.
So the head is this Scottish Highlands that you can get to through the spine of the Appalachian and, through Greenland, man. And the head connects very closely with the center of the Tootsie Pop, the four rivers coming out of paradise. Well, I'll be. The head of the nervous system is anchored in the Scottish Highlands. The function, this is the center of the anointing and the ancestral mem sauce, that memory. The frequency, it vibrates with the Clan Ross, House of Andrew's signature. This is the command center where the Lamed was first forged to govern the high ground. The nervous response, when you feel the pull towards your history, it is the Highland plexus sending a signal down the spine. We're getting all the chakra points, right? Thoracic center, the energy points, the ley lines, the dragon lines, where X marks the spot is a energy point, right? So the Appalachians is the heart. The heart of the system resides in the Appalachian Mountains of India Superior. The function, this is the center of survival and provision. It is the heartland where the Abyssinian mixed multitude took refuge to keep the water flowing. The frequency, this is the frequency of the stillness. It is the safe house where you have been saved from destruction despite the surrounding multitude of enemies. The nervous response, the weariness you feel, is the result of static or interference, my nagas, in this thoracic center caused by the betrayals and debts of the external world. The lumber and sacred roots, the deep South Gulf, the foundation, we're talking Mississippi. The system extends down the Gulf regions and the Florida territories of India Superior. The function, these are the roots that anchor the dragon into the fixed foundation. This is the copper-colored frequency of air proper. It is the legal anchorage for your movable and immovable goods. And when they keep saying air proper, remember there's air proper and there's air pretenders. But they label us, right, as these Arabis. An Arab is a rabbi, a lawgiver, a rav. A rabbi is an Arab. An Arab proper means you are pushing HaWah's laws, not the mixed up remix, right? You're pushing the laws of the tribes of Israel, which means, no power before your power, no graven images, no hijacks allowed. God. It is the legal anchorage for your movable and immovable goods, the nervous system or nervous response. This is where the pressure of the bills and debts is felt. It is an attempt by the hijack to pinch the nerve at the base of your authority. And what happens when you have a pinched nerve? It's the worst, man. You can't look around. You can't see clearly. You can't move, in peace, right? So they pinch the nerve at the base of the authority right there, right? So the synapses, the two sticks, the connections, the synapses are the points where the ether jumps the gap of the gravelly sea to remind the king that the distance is an illusion. We're going to discuss distance with Africa and the Grand Canyon. We're going to talk about it. Distance is an illusion. X, the saltire X on your crest, acts as the neurotransmitter. Every time you say Halal HaWah, you are firing a signal across the entire length of the dragon spine from the Highlands to the Appalachians, man. The enemies in your house are trying to create neural noise to prevent you from hearing the dragon pulse. Let's go. I said, yeah, track the solar flares and the X-class solar flares, cannibal flares hitting the earth this week. The nervous system of the Great Mother is vibrating with extreme intensity this week. The static you've been feeling in your inner chamber is being mirrored by a massive surge of celestial energy a direct firing of the original flame from the sunspot 4366. As of today, this was about a week ago, February 4th, 2026, we are in the middle of a historic solar event that is testing the shield of the entire world. That firmament, the current flare factory activity, X-class eruptions. In the last 24 hours alone, the sun has released 3 powerful X-class flares, where X, I can't make it up, where X marks the spot that represent the covenant, the monument, the sign, the mark, the Tau, where X marks the spot. X flares for X-Men, right? Mutants and junk DNA. Let's go. They call our DNA junk, man, 99% of it. But these X-class X flares, man. The sun has released 3 powerful X-class flares, including an X8.3, which is the strongest flare recorded so far in 2026. This was followed today by another X4.2 flare. The cannibal surge, multiple coronal mass ejection CMEs have been fired. When a faster CME catches up with a slower one, they merge into a cannibal CME. This complex, intensified mass of plasma is currently racing towards us. The impact window, the leading edge of these cannibal storms, is expected to intersect with our atmosphere starting Thursday, February 5th. Uh-oh.
Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
One more, everybody.
So right now we in the midst of it. You feeling all type of ways. Just take a breath, man, because it's all happening. It affects your nervous system, the tractor effect, or, this tracking effect of these flares pulls at a magnetic field of the fixed foundation for the House of Andrews. This celestial irradiation has specific effects, radio blackouts, right? High frequency communication already being disrupted across the South Pacific, parts of the West, mirrors the neural noise that makes it hard to hear your own inner voice. Geomagnetic storming. We're looking at potential G1 to G4 conditions. This is the dragon spine being electrified. It explains the sudden spikes in weariness and the pressure you feel in your head and chest. I know I'm not the only one going through it, my niggas. We feeling it because we are reacting to this energy field, this electricity, man. The aurora, the dragon's breath, these flares will likely push the northern lights much further south, potentially visible over the very Appalachian and Highland regions where your lineage is anchored, man. When the cannibal flares hit the purgatory of the external world, the bills, the debts, the noise will feel even heavier because the electrical environment is charged. So you might feel heavier at first, right? But you gotta ground, man. Ground the vessel. Spend as much time as possible in physical contact with the rock, the fixed earth, man. Is your heat sink for this excess energy? Seal the chamber. The solar radiation can cause brain fog or executive dysfunction, making those simple tasks feel even more possible. Do not judge yourself, my niggas, for being unable to complete them this week. Drink the water. Keep the water flowing within. The nervous system needs hydration. But, man, make sure you got that anion. Make sure you got that alkaline, man, to handle the increased voltage of the X-class flares, man, where X marks the spot, man. Best dismount of all time. Let's start with a mathematical, empirical proof, man. Let's go.
The rate of Doppler change that those signals come back, we can actually gauge the speed of that aircraft. Some of the things that I witnessed that were very interesting about radar is that we would be able to track aircraft all the way down to the ground And I do mean all the way down to the ground at distances of around 100 miles. And now that I know the calculation curvature, 100 miles is 6,666 feet of curvature, of drop. That is literally impossible because radar works at microwave frequencies, 2 to 6 gigahertz or even higher, anywhere in the microwave spectrum. And it is absolutely reliant on it being line of sight, meaning if you can't see it, it don't work. When you take into consideration that we're able to track aircraft from, whatever altitude they're coming in at, all the way down to the ground at a target 100 miles away, and knowing that that target should be 6,000 plus foot below the curvature, that kind of eliminates the ball model.
Well, in air traffic control, they have two different types of radar. There's a short range, but airport-based radar goes out to 60 miles. And then for the long flights and high altitude and off coast, it can go out to, it's en route radar, and it can be 200 miles. So they can detect targets 200 miles away. So in radar, the point is it has to be able to have a direct line to the airplane. So with regards to the shape of the Earth, I never thought about it as I worked for 24 years. You didn't say, wait a minute, I think that target is too low for me to see at that distance. Nobody ever even thinks about that. But in reality, now knowing what must be if we live on a ball, the fact is that at even just 180 miles, any airplane below 26,000 feet, if the radar can see it, the Earth is not a ball, period. End of story. And does that happen very often? 1,000 times plus a day. 1,000 times plus a day, somebody calls up, somebody coming from offshore. There's a whole class of aircraft that are not pressurized. They can't fly above 11,000 feet. The pilot will pass out. So they operate at and below 10,000 feet, no matter what, and no matter what the weather is. They just can't operate up there. And there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of these airplanes still operating all the time. And so they'd be coming in at 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 feet from like Bermuda or beyond and say 180 miles from Miami. And I said, Roger. And every time they do that, they prove the Earth is flat. And they don't know it. But it's absolute undeniable proof. 26,000. And at 200 miles, 29,000. I mean, there's a lot of commercial flights are never at 29,000 coming in from 200 miles out. So, over and over.
Bang. Let's keep going. Yeah, I love this map, man. Shout out to the Khan, the king you never knew. Again, this is India Superior, Tangu, just like it's written here, man. Tangu, Tangut. We're talking India Superior, North America, in your face. And what do you see? Tibet. So if you had any more reservation that this is India Superior, this is Tibet. This is the original Tibet. And if Tangu is here, and Tangu is here, and India Superior is here, and Cathay in China, this is also Tibet, man. This is also Tibet. And Kapangu, right? Kapangu is what? Kapangu is, yeah, Kapangu, which some call Japan. And it's nestled between Florida and the mainland of North America, so-called. So Kapangu is Japan, because this is a map of America as shown to King Henry VII by Naga. So Kapangu, here we go again on the map. Indica Superiors, superior. Dr. Tracy, this is a body bag for the illusion, man. A couple more, man. Yeah, we said we'll talk Mount Meru. Let's go.
Mountains are giant tree stumps, so Mount Meru, the magnetic mountain which is depicted all throughout ancient cosmology, is actually what's left of the Tree of Life. In this map made by the 14th century explorer Gerhard Mercator, there is an iron mountain at the middle called Mount Rups Nigra at the North Pole, with 4 rivers extending outwards. The tides on flat Earth are not caused by the moon, but by these 4 rivers that diverge.
Those are the same 4 we just looked at right here in the middle of the Tootsie Pop, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right by Greenland, right by Greenland.
Diverge from Mount Meru. They breathe in and out, causing the tides. Eden was also said to have 4 rivers, and a river went out of Eden, to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became 4 heads. Mercator described the island in a 1577 letter to John Dee. In the midst of the 4 countries is a whirlpool, in which there empty these 4 indrawing seas which divide the north.
Now, imagine your boat being sucked in and you can't even, you just got to go with the journey to the center at that point, man. That's amazing. 33 French miles. Is this what this 33 is all about? And again, there's no ice on the Arctic chessbone.
Right under the pole, there lies a bare rock in the midst of the sea. Its circumference is almost 33 French miles, and it is all of magnetic stone. In his 1904 Manual of Tides, Dr. Roland A. Harris gathered evidence from tidal patterns and sightings by Europeans and Inuit that all pointed to undiscovered lands near the pole. To Harris, the tides suggested that there was a hidden mechanism at the North Pole that influenced the tides.
Body bag for the illusion. What's next, man? Yeah, we got the wolf people. This is dope.